Hi everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you for joining me. So, I wanted to do a reading. I don't normally do celebrity readings, but this one I just felt called to do. I'll tell you why. So, last year, March 2022, I was kind of halfway watching the Academy Awards, the Oscars. And yeah, I bore witness to the slap. They say the slap heard around the world, where Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock. Now, I have been a fan of Chris Rock's for a long time. Like, I've been a fan. I've watched his stand-up. I remember when he first broke out in acting. And then I love the sitcom that was based on his growing up, his life. Everybody Hates Chris. I love that little sitcom. And so I really thought, I think he's funny. I'm very much one of those people that are into comedy. Like, I pay for comedy shows. I've gone to quite a few in my day, live comedy shows. I just eat it up. So imagine me being like shocked, like many of us, when Will Smith, someone who is normally like very like wholesome appearing, like he just seems like your all-American guy, losing it and slapping Chris Rock. And so a year has passed. We are now March 2023, and Chris Rock just came out with a Netflix comedy special, and he goes in quite a bit on the slap heard around the world. And the reason why I really love comedians so much is because they are able to really pinpoint and articulate what's in our minds and our hearts. And when things are really going down and just feeling really crummy in the world, they have a way of bringing levity to our lives and really can make us laugh till we cry. And so when the comedian is hurt, it feels kind of like, it feels so wrong. And the whole situation feels wrong. I hold compassion for Chris, how embarrassing it was to be slapped where everybody in the world could see, and then you just kind of standing there because you're hired in a professional setting as a host, and you're trying to keep your composure, where some of us would have hauled off and take the microphone and popped Will across the face, but he held it in. And I heard that he really struggled this past year with all that. And then, Will Smith was able to get his award. He actually was nominated and received an award. And he was able to party that night, while Chris was nursing literally a ego wound and a wound like being slapped. I mean, it's just like... So he went in and was going off on this Netflix special, Chris did, about the slap, about Jada, Will Smith's wife. And so it got me to thinking, like, well, what in the world is going on through the minds of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett? And I'm just kind of curious, and to see if there's any remorse there, because in my mind, I know some people are like, oh, Will Smith was defending Jada's honor, but honestly, I didn't see it that way at all. I just did not. I did not feel it was one of those scenarios that her honor needed to be defended, or that she was in some sort of threat, whether it was her honor or whether her physical or emotional person. And some people will argue with me. I've had spirited discussions about this topic, and I'm prepared to have more. I just didn't agree, but I don't know. That's just me. So we're going to use tarot. And we're going to ask some questions. I have the questions here on the side here. First one is, how does Will Smith feel now in 2023, March 2023? How does Will Smith feel now following the slap? We have 4 of Swords. Business as usual, 3 of Pentacles. I would say there is a part of him that's kind of like with the 4 of Swords. I'm going to sit this one out. I have this coming. This was a stressful time for me this time last year. And, you know, I overreacted. I need to sit this one out. I need to just let things be. Let things fly. Okay. So there is some humbleness that I'm appreciating seeing. But also for him, this is business as usual. This comedy special that Chris did, actually, it does help Chris's bottom line. You know, he's getting paid by Netflix, but it also helps Will Smith, you know. So to me, you know, you have these 3 players here in this image. This is speaking to, this is, he's not really mad about what was said. Usually I'm used to the camera hovering over, not me looking straight ahead to you all. So I'm trying to shuffle. He's, it's all good for him, and he doesn't feel really any remorse, I would say, about what happened in terms of, I have to get back into focus about work. I have to get back into focus about saving the partnerships that I've established. And, I'm not getting a real sense that they were maybe necessarily friends before, during, or after this whole ordeal. This feels very transactional, and it just feels like this is more, publicity. Good, bad, publicity is publicity. And at the end of the day, it's got people talking still about all of them. Chris, especially right now, because he did the special. Will Smith, because he is the big actor, and was the one who slapped. And then Jada, who's the wife that Will was defending. So, but he's just going to sit this one out. I don't sense him going to be saying much of anything. I don't see that he's going to be saying much of anything about it, like a rebuttal. If he does, it's going to be something where he's going to just say, you know what, I may have it coming. He's going to try to really show that he has a bit of humbleness about himself. Oh, I didn't really watch it. I heard about it, but you know what? He has to get off where he's mad at. I understand. So that's going to be like the approach, at least energetically speaking. That's what I'm picking up on. So next question. What was really behind the slap? Temperance on the table. What was really behind the slap? Okay, so we got Temperance, 4 of Pentacles in reverse, and these 2 cards, there was a strong sense of insecurity and instability at that moment in Will Smith's life. He was really trying to bring about harmony to that situation, believe it or not. A slap clearly would not bring harmony, but in his emotional body, he felt like this could help the situation. There was something going on here that had him really feeling unstable, really feeling like it could be financial, but it also could be something at the house, in his home life, in his career, financial situations. And so the slap was about regaining a sense of power, and in power for a man, sometimes it's about bringing in a sense of balance. And how you do that is, if you felt like you were wrong, you have to bring that back, that equilibrium back into a straight line. And that's what this was about. Let me see. Oh, well, that's good to know. I have some oracle cards that will talk about in a moment. But let's see, is there any other reason why this slap happened? Now, love affair. And I'll show you the other cards in a moment, but I feel like those intuitively is for later. Love affair, dirty little secret down low. So some kind of affair, past, present, something that happened within 4 years' time from the time that whole slap heard around the world happened. The Four Pentacles for me is tied to the timing of years. So Four of Pentacles, 4 years. So something kind of percolating. And so he just was feeling quite unstable. It could also be health-wise, because I'm looking at this woman. She has her, her body exposed. So it may also be something about someone's health, somebody's financial stability, their career, their marriage. The Pentacles is about the money, the tangible things that you work so hard for. And that being unstable and him feeling way out of whack, way out of balance. But the Oracle card brings clarity, love affair, whatever that may be. I'm pretty sure it's not speaking to Chris and Jada being in anything, having an entanglement of sorts. That's not what that is. Okay. Has Will seen or heard about the Netflix special? I'm sure he has, but I added that just to kind of do a touch base for, yeah, he has. Queen of Pentacles. And so has Jada, because that was going to be my next question. They have seen it. The Queen of Pentacles is an affirmative card of yes, they have. Again, I don't get a strong sense that they're super angry, but we're going to just double check. What are Will Smith's thoughts about the Netflix special that Chris did? What's his thoughts or feelings and/or feelings? Oh, Queen of Cups. What about Jada? What is Jada's feelings? Because I think Chris called her a bitch and mentioned the entanglement, the affair. So there's that. How does Jada feel or think about that? How does she think or feel about it? Seven of Cups. I'm not getting a strong sense of anger or reproach. In fact, again, I think that what I'm sensing here is that maybe with this Queen of Cups, that Will could have been working on this, going to therapy, really getting into emotional balance with his life since this slap occurred, and getting back into real alignment in his life, not perceived alignment of what he thinks it should be when everything is actually upside down. No, this is actually him really having emotional peace. And when he heard about this Netflix special, he probably even got word ahead of time, at least several days ahead of time of what's to come. He was okay with it. He made peace with it. And I think there's a level of understanding that Chris was hurting and needed to get this out. This is very cathartic for Chris to do this special. And then Miss Jada, we have the Seven of Cups. She's just like, forever exploring her options, ain't she? So we got this here, Seven of Cups. So she's just, she's not feeling necessarily bad about it. She's also thinking about how to capitalize on it. I wouldn't be surprised if this lady she may have even tried to in the past, and maybe in the coming days ahead, want to have him on her red table talks, or find different options of how to capitalize on this whole thing. But I think also, she may have felt also some different emotions. But at the end of the day, he wasn't really telling lies in his comedy special. I mean, she did, by her own admission, have an entanglement with her son's friend, August, right? She said that. Will slapped Chris. So Chris ain't saying nothing that ain't true in his special. So there's that. So I think they know about it and they're handling it well. What's next for Chris and Will's spirit? I know that they, might be somewhat in similar circles in Hollywood. So what's next? Four of Wands in reverse. What's a couple of fours? That's interesting to me. I'm sensing that there, from here on out, even though Will understands emotionally why Chris has to do this, there is still this underlying instability about how he felt that Chris was moving and acting towards them, towards Jada and Will throughout the years. This could be years in the making leading up to this whole thing. Something that was brewing. And it's not just this love affair card, but this could be something that really bugged both Jada and Will, that pulled at their heartstrings and made them mad, years ago. And so that instability just doesn't go anywhere. I still think that they're not going to be crossing paths. It's still going to be quite unstable, at least this spring, with the Four of Wands. Wands representing the season of spring. And at least for the next 4 weeks or so, you're not going to have them being buddy-buddy. They're going to kind of, keep the distance. And Chris is moving on. Will Smith is moving on. Will they ever be in a better place? We have Six of Pentacles. This is a favorable card that eventually, in due time, they will start to get to a better place. The Pentacles represents either the season of autumn or the timing of years. So hopefully it doesn't take 6 years, but it could be that, in the autumn, they might, be around each other, come across each other. And it's not going to be, now that the air is somewhat cleared with Chris airing out how he really felt, he couldn't punch you back or slap you. Now you all both are kind of at a even playing field here. And so from here you can move upwards. But I don't sense them instantly becoming best friends in the upright position. It's like in reverse. I'm not going to be doing that. All right. And how is, just a little me being nosy, how are Will and Jada doing these days? How are they doing? They have this interesting marriage. I'll say that. Knight of Wands. Okay. Ten of Swords. Well. Okay, so remember I said I had 2 oracle cards that I wanted to show you? This is interesting. So we got Knight of Wands. Someone is passionately and being zealous about pursuing something, pursuing goals, ambition, drive, lust. That's interesting to me. Ten of Swords. At first I was like, oh my gosh, are they having marital problems? I don't know. I don't know if they're having marital problems with the Ten of Swords. Tens are about endings, painful endings, a sense of betrayal. Maybe they are at an end of feeling like in their minds too. I felt like they were, as a couple, they were feeling attacked and feeling victimized. When in actuality, I'm not sure that was what was really going on. But this is their, how they're perceiving it. The reason why I'm like, I don't think they're over. I mean, this card could simply mean that for sure. But we have commitment, long-term relationship. One thing, Will has always been saying, he's got an undying love for Jada. And Jada, out of the two, who would be most likely, in my opinion, to leave or throw this relationship away? Because this is one of the cards that jump trash. It says discarding or throwing out. It would probably be her walking away. Then it would be him, Will. But I just sense that there's some kind of significant ending that they're dealing with at this time that has been mentally taxing for them, and it's almost like a weight off their shoulders. It's something they've been dealing with for like the last 10 months or so. And it's at the end of winter, which we are actually at the end of winter. The Ten of Swords for me represents, or swords represents the season of winter, timing of months. And 10 is the end, and we are at the end of seasonal winter, right? So spring is March 20th. So they have been dealing with a very difficult time, and I think it has brought them a bit closer. But this card is interesting. Maybe this is speaking about their passion, their undying love for one another. Like they have a lot of desire and passion, or it could be just they're highly an ambitious power couple, or it could be allegedly speaking to someone, getting their little jollies off elsewhere. I just get a sense like sometimes I feel like they have this kind of open kind of relationship. I could be wrong. The cards that jump earlier that I said, I feel like this is for later, is projected. It says future, days, weeks, and months. So that's what I was saying. Like this is giving me the projection of timing. It's affirming, okay, affirming timing, something projected. And I think whatever difficult time they're going through is finally coming to an end. It's finally done. Of course, this card could symbolize something happening in their relationship that's done, but I sense it's them as a fortified unit. Completion, lessons learned. I do think that this was a big learning lesson for them. I do think that there was some humbling. I was worried because I was like, was Will really humble from that whole experience? He didn't come across as being really humble, and his apology to me felt hollow to Chris. But I see that and he does have the resources. I see he has been tapping into the resources to really tap into what was going on with him emotionally. And the Queen of Cups could even symbolize a female therapist he's been working with, or a counselor, or psychiatrist, or someone who has been really coaching and helping him to understand why he reacted the way he did, and etc. So yeah, let me see if I have any other questions. And now that this is all over, how is Chris feeling now? How's Chris feeling after doing that Netflix special? I heard that he's doing much better. Oh, Hanged Man. I think this is a sign, and I think he's been kind of in suspension, kind of worried about, I think he's been preparing for this whole thing since the slap happened, since he started working on this routine. He's been preparing, but there's this part of him is waiting for the other shoe to drop because he doesn't know if it's going to land right or if it's going to cause more problems. You have to understand that, and this is what I know from following him all these years, is that he has a history of being bullied and being taunted. And there are certain things about him that I can tell he still carries that. And so I think that, yes, he's showing up as a confident comedian who put this show out, but I think that he is kind of just suspending and waiting and seeing how things unfold. There is a certain level of peace, though, that he's feeling. He's got a new perspective now. He's able to share this new perspective to the audience that he's gained over this past year, from last March to this March. And interestingly enough, for me, the Hanged Man does represent the time period of February 21st to March 20th. So it literally is him coming full circle and having a new perspective on things. He's, it's been a journey for him. It's been a journey. And now, you know what the next card is after the Hanged Man, right? I have to always Yes, it's the death card. And it's about transformation. So now that he's had this whole experience, there's a sense of transformation and change that he's about to embark on in his journey. And this was very, very cathartic and liberating for him. And that's a great thing. So that's why I felt called to do this reading. I'll take a picture of it so you all can see what I did here with the cards. Yeah. I'm not always going to do celebrity readings, but I think we can learn something about processing and understanding that we have to give ourselves grace. And yeah, sometimes somebody does something to us and we may feel shame and hurt and anger, and we may not be able to react in the way that we want to react when it's happening. But, in due time, we can process and we can heal, and the offending person can grow, and learn too. Everybody can get a second chance in a situation if it is allowed, if the grace is granted to ourselves and to others. So, I'm not expecting them to be best friends. It certainly don't say that in the cards, but I do sense I'm moving forward and moving on, and lessons learned here. Let me know what you all think. Let me know what you thought about the slap heard around the world. Let me know what you think about these cards that came up. Do you have any little tidbits of gossip? Are there any other celebrity readings that you'd like me to take a stab at and do a little reading on? I can't promise I'll do it for all. Like, once you open this floodgate, everybody's going to be like, well, what about this rapper? Or what about this person? Or what about these young people over here? I have to be intuitively called to do the readings, so there's that. But I'm open to hearing your suggestions. All right, my friends, do me a favor. Hit the like button on your way out. Please subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now.